Okay. We are recording and we're also live on my Facebook page, not my profile, but my page. So for those of you watching this on Facebook, hello, good morning. Happy to have you here. If you have any questions as we go through this FANSC lifestyle protocol, just ask them in the comments and I promise to answer each one of them. And then here on Zoom, if we have questions, we can ask them in the chat. And then I'll answer all those. The goal is to get through this within 30 minutes or less. And so we're going to go ahead and get started. Before we start, I'm going to say a quick blessing over the meeting. Wait, 2 more people are wanting to get in here. Admit. Okay. Lord, we thank you for this glorious day that you provided us. And we thank you for this community here at FANSC Lifestyle of supportive, encouraging, good human beings. And Father, we just ask that whoever starts the FANSC Lifestyle, that you would heal whatever they need to be healed. And we ask this in your name, in Jesus' name. Amen. All right. All righty. Let's go, ladies and gents. So I'm going to try and share my screen now. Let's see. Share screen. I'm going to go to desktop. Okay. Share. And then I need to find Facebook. Oh boy. Okay, not that Facebook. This Facebook. Here we go. Okay. So can somebody put in the chat if you can see the FANSC Diet Facebook group, please? Thank you very much. Jeffrey Hobson. Yes, thank you, Jeffrey. Okay. So I'm going to go through this quickly. And then when you guys have questions, which I hope you do, you're going to please ask them, okay? And type them in the chat if you're viewing this on Zoom. If you're viewing this on Facebook, then go ahead and type it in the comments. Okay, so here's how this group works. We started it a couple of weeks ago. There's 339 people in here now that are wanting to make their health a priority in 2023 and beyond by following this FANSC diet, lifestyle, and protocol. And it's working. What we're seeing so far, on average, you know, there's always variables, but on average, men and women both are seeing about a 5 to 10 pound first week weight loss. And keep in mind, weight loss, that's only one part of our achieving optimal health. You know, it's a big part because the world we live in and all the processed foods and stuff. But that's only one part of the living the FANSC lifestyle. What the FANSC lifestyle is not, it's not a diet to get on, lose 20 pounds, and then go back to our old ways of life and get right back to where we were again, like many of us have done many times. This is not that. This is a permanent, sustainable, long-term lifestyle, okay? So that we can live a FANSC lifestyle, get to where we want to be in our health, be it our weight, you know, different diseases we may have, whatever, get healthy and then stay that way. Not this up and down roller coaster, back and forth, fat, skinny, sick, healthy. No, we want to live the lifestyle. And so the FANSC diet's a sustainable modified carnivore lifestyle. So as you come into this group, this is brand new. And then when you invite friends into this group that want to make their health a priority, the first thing when they come in here, they want to click right here where it says featured. Okay, that's the featured post. Now, the first one that shows up is the replay from last Saturday, which I highly recommend. If you have not watched that one, watch it because it tells the backstory of, you know, how did FANSC lifestyle even originate? Where did it come from? And you'll find out it came from a napkin. You just got to watch it, okay? But this post right here, Meet FANSC, see details below. This is the first thing that you want every person that comes into this group to read from top to bottom. It's not long, but this is important because this is the whole outline. So if a person looks at this outline and says, that's not for me, they need to just remove themselves from the group. and go to a different group. Okay. And so this is the most important part of the group, is reading this right here. This is the protocol. So when you click on see more, well, let me start at the top, how it works. And the first sentence is what I love the most about FANSC. The beauty of this plan is you don't have to be perfect. And you know why that's so awesome? Because none of us are perfect. There's only one perfect one. Right? And so the beauty of this plan, we don't have to be perfect. And this is just the outline that I have followed personally. So this isn't from theory. This is based off application of my first 30 days of following this to a T. Okay. I had to do it and prove it first before we could share it. And now other people are following it and getting results too, which is awesome. So this is the exact outline, and it's kind of like a recipe. You don't want to leave out any ingredients except, the coffee. If you're not a coffee drinker, that's okay. Just don't drink coffee. It's not mandatory. It's just added in here because most of the world consumes coffee and most of them are not willing to give it up to do this. So I included coffee. I've got my coffee right here in my hand. I'm going to have a sip. I love my coffee. Okay. If you leave anything out, though, it's not going to work for you. So make sure that you follow the protocol. Now, like I said, you don't have to be perfect because we're not. And if we eat a bag of potato chips and some Oreos today, it's not the end of the world, right? Because tomorrow the sun's going to come up again. God's promised us that. And it's a brand new day. So you just jump back on the horse. What you don't want to do is fall into, I ate a pack of Oreos today and a bag of Lay's potato chips. And then the next day I had some Nutter Butters. And then the next day I had chocolate chip ice cream. Then you're right back into the old thing again. So not being perfect and falling off is part of the journey. Okay. And in this community, we're here to support one another, to encourage one another, to cheer each other on when we have success, to lift each other up when we have a bad day. That's what community is all about. Getting healthy is very hard. If it wasn't, everybody in the world would have six-pack abs and look great and be optimal health. It's not easy, and it's almost impossible to do it alone. So in this loving, supportive community called the FANSC Lifestyle that we're just starting, you're never alone. You've got people here 24/7 to help you. Okay. So the protocol, FANSC is an acronym, FANSC. So each letter stands for something, and the F in FANSC is fatty foods. Okay, fat is your friend, and some of you are probably going, what? I always heard don't eat fat. It'll clog your arteries if you eat too much. That's not true. And I'm not going to go into why. That's not what this is for. But the documentation is out there with Dr. Ken Berry, with Dr. Anthony Chaffee, and various others that are posted in this group. And if you ever want to listen to these guys, which I recommend you do, educate yourself. You have to educate yourself and think differently to achieve optimal health. Okay. So fatty foods are listed here, and there's probably some more that are not on there, but anything with fat, and preferably ruminant animals. Okay, they've got 4 different stomach chambers, so they can eat like toxic plants and stuff, but it goes through their 4 chambers, and by the time we eat the meat, it's gone. But God didn't make us with 4 chambers. We just have our stomach. So a lot of leafy greens and stuff are a lot of our problems because they're toxic. We're not meant to eat them. Once again, it's a different way of thinking, but I promise when you do your own due diligence and research and learn, your eyes are gonna be opened wide. You're gonna be like, no wonder. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, there's every kind of health condition I can imagine that I've read through all of these patients that are following this that are being healed. I'm talking pre-diabetics not being pre-diabetic anymore. And 50% of the population is either pre-diabetic or diabetic. 50%, that's half. So this is a big deal. They don't have to live like that anymore and take drugs and all this stuff. You just have to eat right, fuel the body properly, and it works. So F is the fatty foods. Now I will say this. The other diet's called the lion diet, and that's beef, water, and salt. That's it. Boring as all heck. That's why I invented the FANSC lifestyle, because I'm not doing that. But pay attention. If you're watching this, you're listening to this, whether live or on the replay, and you're saying, man, I got some serious health issues I got to figure out, you know, different conditions. We won't get into all the different names, but pretty much anything. I would highly recommend your first 30 days that you just go meat, salt, and water. That's it. And your, you know, NCT and coffee if you want it. But leave out anything else, the eggs, the butter, and all that stuff. Go meat, salt, water for 30 days. And I know that sounds like, gosh, can I even do that? You can if you take your NCT, because it curbs your cravings. It lowers your cortisol levels in your body, and cortisol causes stress. Stress, a lot of times, makes us eat things that we know we should not eat. Snickers bars, Ruffles potato chips, stuff like that. And so I would eat meat, salt and water, NCT, and coffee for 30 days. And 30 days is not a long time. I mean, we could do a lot of painful things for 30 days, right? It's just 30 days to turn your health around. And so my first 30, that's what I did, with the exception of a couple days I threw some eggs in there. But I was meat, salt, water for the first 30 days. And my results were staggering, like transformational in 30 days. That's all it takes. So if you look at where are we today in our health, it took us our whole life to get where we're at. I'm 60 and I reversed it in 30 days. I'm talking mentally and physically. Complete transformation in 30 days. Now, let me look at my calendar. I'm on day 42 now. Today is day 42. So after that 30, these next 12, I've sustained it. I'm not going back to the old Mick, unhealthy, sick and fat and miserable feeling. I'm not going back to that. This is the new lifestyle. And so it's sustainable, which is so key. And it's because of the protocol. When it all comes together, it makes it long-term sustainable. So fatty, just think fat is your friend. Eat fatty. If you eat chicken, get skin on and eat the skin. That's the fat. Your body needs that to heal. Okay. So that's the F. The A is any whole food with just one ingredient. And then in quotations, preferably with seeds. So a zucchini has seeds. Lettuce does not. Celery does not. A carrot does not. Squash has seeds. So anything preferably with seeds, okay? And I'm not, once again, that's a whole nother Zoom topic, but any whole food with one ingredient. And you know, a really kind of easy general rule of thumb is that when we walk into a grocery store, if you look down from up above at a grocery store and the way they're laid out, a grocery store has the perimeter is where the foods with one ingredient generally are. Your meats, your veggies, your dairy, things with one ingredient only. Okay, that's what we want to put in our body. The middle of the store is mainly processed foods with multiple ingredients that all make us sick. Okay. And so when you look at the FANSC lifestyle protocol, that stuff's removed, the stuff that makes us sick. Is that easy to do? No, because it's in our face everywhere we turn. Our whole life, we've been eating that stuff, me included. So your health has to be enough of a priority. You have to care enough about you being around for yourself, your family, your friends, you know, honoring, you're the temple, honoring God by having a healthy body. All those things have to be a priority in your life or you won't do this. And so any food that has one ingredient is okay, preferably ones with seeds. And that goes back to the ruminant animals. Study ruminant animals. They have 4 chambers because when they eat toxic leafy greens like lettuce and things like that, by the time it gets through them, it's no longer toxic and the meat is good for us to eat. We're not ruminant. God didn't create us with 4 chambers. So if we eat that stuff, it's toxic to our body and causes a lot of health problems. There's a whole myriad of doctors' YouTube channels that discuss this in great detail if you want to dig in deeper, okay? And then the N, that's the third letter, is NCT, which is short for nootropic cognitive technology, and that does a couple of things that are really important to making this long-term sustainable. Number one, the cravings, like if you see someone puts out a fresh, warm batch, steaming chocolate chip cookies on a platter right in front of you, dude, I mean, let's get real. That's tough. But when you're on NCT, you won't even want one. You won't even have to like, oh gosh, can I do it? Can I pass this up? What if I just break off a little corner just for the taste? You won't do any of that. You'll just look at it and keep going. That's NCT. It curves the cravings, okay? You won't eat as much when you do eat. You know, you become full, satiated faster, and it also lowers your cortisol levels in your body quickly, which lowers your stress, which a lot of people stress eat. They get stressed out, and Snickers bar and the cookies and the chips makes them feel better. So they reach for it. NCT will keep you from doing that. And it's burning additional fat in your body all day long with the fat burning ingredients in it. So that one's vitally important. It's the one that speeds up your progress, probably cuts it in half. And it also keeps you from making bad decisions. It's just a vital component in controlling our mind, because it's got nootropics in it too. So it automatically makes you feel happier, more positive, more confident, more encouraged, more joyful. It just makes you feel good. And when you feel good, you don't eat bad stuff. So that's a vital component that makes this FANSC lifestyle long-term sustainable. So once again, FANSC lifestyle isn't something you do for a month or two, lose weight, get healthy and fit, and then go back to your old ways. This is not that. This is a long-term sustainable lifestyle that's fun. We've got all kinds of great foods we can eat and all that. So it makes it long-term sustainable. Nobody's going to be counting calories and weighing out foods on scales and all that stuff. We don't do any of that here, okay? And I'll get more into that just at the bottom. And then the salt, you want a salt to taste. Salt is your friend in this, and you want it for adding electrolytes, because when you eat a lot of fatty foods, you need to up your electrolytes. Once again, you can go to the doctor's channels, go like to Dr. Ken Berry, or go to Anthony Chaffee and just type in salt in the search bar, and it will deep dive why. You know, I am the furthest thing from a doctor that you could possibly find. Mick is not that. Mick is common sense, street smart. I'm not book smart, and I'm not a medical professional, but I know where the people are that have the answers. And so I'm not recommending this to anybody. I'm not giving dietary advice. I'm doing none of that. I'm just simply sharing what I did for 30 days to radically transform my health for the better, my health and well-being mentally and physically. And then C is coffee. Coffee is optional. You don't have to drink coffee if you don't want to, but a lot of America does. And if you want to add a little heavy whipping cream, that's okay. But I will say, if you're after weight loss, if that's your primary, like I want to lose weight and I want to get it done quick, cut out any dairy, cut out the butter, cut out anything but meat, salt, and water. That's it for 30 days. And the weight will pretty much fall off like fast. And I've seen it in both men and women. And like I said, 30 days is not that long. 30 days is not going to kill a person. What was it Dr. Kilt said? I could hang by a windowsill by my fingernails for 30 days if I wanted something bad enough. So how bad do you want good health? That's the question you have to ask yourself. If it's bad, if it's a priority for you in your life, just go meat, salt, water for 30 days. And then start adding in any whole food with one ingredient, you know, the Kerrygold grass-fed butter, eggs, things like that. Okay. So it's totally up to you. There's no, this is the rule, you have to do this. This is, everybody find their jam. Somebody might say, I'm going to do this, but every night I'm having a piece of pie. God bless you. Go ahead. You just won't have as good of results, but that's okay. That's all right. Okay, daily routine. I'm not going to go through that. It's pretty self-explanatory, but the bottom is important. My daily routine's not yours. Okay, you got to find your jam. Whatever works for you is what's the perfect way. Okay, whatever works for me is the perfect way. And I've gone back for when I started, it was meat, water, salt, and I only ate once a day. And I ate, you know, 1 pound to 2 pounds of meat in the evening, and then went to bed so my body could heal and digest it. 24 hours later, I'd do that again. And I lost 23 pounds in 4 weeks. And muscles started to show up. I look in the mirror now and I'm like, my body is like transforming, like it's different. There's things that weren't there before are there now. Like it's happening as I watch, and I'm only on day 42. So you find your jam, just following this outline as closely as possible. Okay. There's no restrictions though. You can eat once a day or 15 times a day. It doesn't matter how much you eat. What matters is what you eat. So if you go to the F in FANSC, you want to be eating that. When you get hungry, eat. Don't weigh it, count portions and grams. We don't, none of that nonsense. Welcome to the FANSC lifestyle, the world's most sustainable, healthy lifestyle. So this post is it. And you know what, you guys and gals, we're only a couple weeks into this. I mean, I started eating this way December 11th. I invented the FANSC diet on December 21st. I started this FANSC lifestyle group on January 1st. Started adding people in that week. People are starting to get results following it. So this is brand new. So this will probably evolve right here. It already has. And it will probably continue to evolve. Okay. So we just have to have a starting point. And this is working. Like I said, the majority of men and women lose 5 to 10 pounds their very first week if they're following this protocol. Now, if they leave any of these ingredients out in the FANSC, it's not going to work. So it's just like if I was baking a cake and I left a couple key ingredients out, it's not going to work. It's not going to taste good. It's going to be miserable. It's going to be a failure. This group is not about failing. This group is about successfully becoming the best that we can be and achieving our optimal health in a fun, encouraging community of people, and doing it together, because doing it alone is no fun and it's hard. Okay, so now I'm going to stop my share. And I'm going back to here. And now, oh gosh, look at all you beautiful people. I love it. Now I'm going to go to the chat, and I can't see Facebook. So on Facebook, you're going to have to ask in the comment section. And I promise when this is over today and this evening, I'll get to all the questions. But for those of you on the Zoom here, please type anything in the chat. I've got the chat pulled up right now. I can see it, and I will definitely get them answered. No question's a dumb one. We're all brand new to this. And so please don't be shy. Ask a question. Or if you've been on following FANSC for a period of time already and had results, put those on here, because everybody likes to hear, you know, what's happening for people. And by the way, in that Facebook group, if you go and type in testimonial in the search bar, you'll see a whole bunch of people, what they wrote. Hey, I started this many days ago and this happened, and all these different things. And Carrie, I just saw your comment in the chat. And yes, I would, like I said, I'm the furthest thing in the world from a medical professional. I'm a country boy bass fisherman. But the doctors who we recommend inside of the Facebook community, Dr. Barry, Dr. Chaffee, Michaela Peterson, Jordan Peterson, and Michaela's not a doctor, but their information is so good, like deep, deep research for years. They've got people that have been eating this way for decades and healed every disease that they had with no drugs, just by eating this way. And so whatever a person may be going through, you can turn it around and heal it eating this way. Because this is basically the same thing that they're talking about. It's just modified by adding the coffee and the NCT to make it more sustainable, because those diets are so hard that a lot of people start, and even though they're getting results, they quit because it's too hard. It's just too boring for them. And so FANSC is not boring. It's sustainable. You enjoy being on it. Let's see, been listening to Lori Blackwell, been listening to Dr. Ken Berry and Kelly Hogan. It's been vital to me understanding carnivore. Yes, amen. Dr. Ken Berry, and I think on YouTube he's Dr. Ken D. Berry. And you can go right to his link inside the Facebook group. Just go to the search and put in #doctors, and it'll take you right to the post. And then Kelly Hogan, yeah, her story is incredible. She's been eating meat, salt, and water for 13 years. And I forget, she lost 150 pounds or something. And she actually had 2 children during that 13 years. And all she ate was meat, salt, and water. And her kids are healthy, perfect children. They have nothing wrong with them. She breastfed them, eating meat, salt, and water. Luke Williams, buddy, I'm amazed about the increase in energy. Me too. Like, I was the guy, because I work at home, every day after I ate a tuna sandwich and some potato chips, and I would go lay on the couch and sleep at least an hour every day. Dude, I couldn't sleep. I've got so much energy and focus and clarity and happiness. Like, I can't stop. And then by feeling this way all day, when I go to bed at night, man, I sleep like dreamy, just REM deep sleep, like, and that heals our body too. If you're not sleeping well, it's not good for your healing. So there's so many different things that FANSC Lifestyle contributes to. And, a lot of people, of course, with 70% of America overweight or obese, a lot of people come to something like this with their number one priority: let's drop some weight. And face it, when we go to the doctor with any kind of problems, pretty much first thing they say is you need to drop some weight. And that's going to eliminate a bunch of stuff just right out of the gate. So it is important, but it's not the only thing. And by doing that, it starts to heal a lot of other things. So our bodies, think about it, God didn't make any mistakes. When God created us, he created us to be able to heal ourselves. But what we've done as a population is we've started to eat the processed crap, and it's everywhere we turn. And we started fueling this beautiful temple that God gave us with a bunch of crap. It's like we're designed to run on gasoline, and we've been putting diesel in it. And we just keep getting sicker and sicker and sicker. And so we just got to turn it around. We've got to do something different. And that's what we're doing here. And it's working. And it doesn't matter what age we are. Heck, I'm 60 and I turned it around in 30 days. 30 days. That's it. It goes by like that. And now I'm looking in the mirror going, whoa. Let's see. Susie Q. I'm doing FANSC to add muscle back on. The NCT has changed my taste buds with coffee. Too bitter now. Doing chai tea with cinnamolo NCT powder. Amazing. See? That's your jam. Susie Q's finding her jam. Sister, come on. Jeff, water with a pH of 8.5 to 9.0 alkaline is best. Yeah, 8.5 to 9, 8.5 to 9.5. You know what, though? You notice in the protocol, I changed the A because after listening to these doctors and diving in deeper, a lot of them are like, you don't need to buy alkaline water. It's as simple as adding some salt to your water, once or twice a day, just a little bit, not so where it's like you're drinking salt water out of the ocean, yucky, but just a little bit, just increase your electrolytes a little bit. Don't overthink this thing. Now, if your legs start cramping up, leg cramps are a sign you need more salt, okay? And then if you start getting diarrhea, well, in the very beginning, you can get diarrhea no matter what your electrolytes are, because your body is going, holy moly, where's my Fritos? Where's my ho-hos? And now you're putting in all this good, nutritious meat. Your body's going, I don't know what to do with all this stuff. And the bile in your stomach's all messed up. Man, it just starts coming out. I mean, it could be explosive, but it's not permanent. Sometimes it's got to get worse before it can get better. Once again, how big of a priority is your health? Is it worth going through that for a couple of days? Yes. But anyway, if you're way into it and you're still getting the diarrhea, it's too much salt, too many electrolytes. So just back it down. Sugar is the devil, Carrie Kruger. You got that right. Oh my gosh. And all that crap in the middle of the grocery store, in all the aisles with the pretty labels, all that stuff, when you eat it, guess what it turns into? Yeah, the devil. Gene Peterson, it's great that everyone can find what works for them. Amen, sister. That's what this is all about. It's not this strict, only do this. Oh, if you're going to do that, yeah, but no, you find your jam. Okay. What works for me might not necessarily work for you. Okay. Jeff Spurlock, cancer cannot live in a high pH environment. So the pH is important. Most alkaline is chemically made. There are ones available from Hawaii that are volcanic and naturally alkaline. Yeah, and so I've got a little bit of the case from Costco left. And after that, I'm just going back to my regular filtered water, good clean water, and I'm going to add some salt. And that's it. Simpler is better. Cost effective is better. You can do this diet on such a budget. I mean, when you listen to Kelly Hogan's story, she's eaten meat, salt, water for 13 years, had 2 children, lost 150 pounds. The majority of her transformation, get this, and this is a hack for when you're traveling. I'm leaving Thursday for my first MC gig. Next up to the stage, we have John Wilson with 5 bass weighing 10 pounds, 7 ounces. I'm going to go do my first gig this next weekend. So I'm flying to Sacramento on Thursday. So this is going to come into play. So Kelly Hogan, the majority of her transformation was she ate McDonald's hamburger patties for a couple of years straight. That's all she ate, hamburger patties, water, and salt. Now, this is important to know. If you're on the road, you're traveling, you're in a pinch, you're like, I don't have anything fancy to eat. I got to eat. I'm starving. Okay, you want to eat. Pull in McDonald's and order 1/4 pounder patties, just the patty. And they're going to give you the 1/4 pounder box, and it's going to have the hamburger patties in there, however many you want. She would go in there and get anywhere from 4 to 6 to 8 just patties, and she'd just be in her car eating hamburger patties going down the road. And she had the majority of her success eating McDonald's hamburger patties. So you talk about cost effective. Like tonight, I think my dinner, I'm going to get a 1 pound grass-fed 80/20 ground beef, and I'm just going to cook that thing up and eat the whole thing, and I'll be good with some salt. I'll salt it, and I'll be good to go. That's $4.96 at Walmart. I mean, you can do it with hot dogs. Once again, look at the ingredients. You'd be amazed what has sugar in it. So when you flip that thing over and look at the label, a lot of things have sugar that you wouldn't think would have sugar in them. But remember, one ingredient. Now, if it's one ingredient, like my Kerrygold grass-fed butter says pasteurized milk and salt, that's okay. Salt is fine. But if you got a list of ingredients, stay away from it. It's poison. It's going to keep you sick and unhealthy and on drugs. That's what they want, by the way. The powers to be aren't out to protect us and keep us healthy. They're out to make us sick. So we have to buy more drugs for the pharmaceuticals to line their pockets. You guys understand this, right? It's a cold, hard fact. But you know what? Here in FANSC, we're smarter than that, okay? We're not going to go down that road. We are just down the road from Sacramento. Lots of water. Yay, Lori. 44 years since I have been to Mickey D's, McDonald's, Susie Q. Hey, I am a non-fast food guy for years. But now that I know that those patties on the quarter pounder only are 100% pure ground beef with no additives, no hormones, it's real beef, I will utilize that for cost effectiveness, for convenience, for traveling. Yeah. I mean, when I leave, I got my suitcase there. I got a crock pot in there. As soon as I get to Lake Shasta, I'm going to go down to the grocery store, get me a big old 3-pound roast, throw in that thing, 8 ounces of water, put it on. And I'm going to stink the whole resort up. People would be like, what smells so good? Because you know how in crock pots, you got one cooking, you can pull in your driveway, and it's like you get out of your truck, it's like you smell it already. It's going through the neighborhood. These bass fishermen are going to be tripping out. Who's cooking in it? Oh, I'm going to have so much fun. And I'm going loaded with my NCT. I'm going to be getting people into the FANSC group, getting a lot of these bass guys, it's like they got a bowling ball under their t-shirt. They big, all belly, skinny legs, all belly. Kind of like yours truly used to be 42 days ago. 30 days, turn it completely around. Try to stay, yeah, the processed food, Carrie. You got to look at the labels, you guys. If there's more than one ingredient other than salt, don't buy it. It's bad. It's bad stuff. It's designed to keep you sick. So you got to get on drugs. Yeah, you know what, Susie Q, I'd go to Kelly Hogan's YouTube channel and just put in there McDonald's hamburger patties. She'll school you, man. But don't buy the ones on the Big Macs or the value meal burger. It has to be the quarter pounder. They have different beefs. So the quarter pounder is 100% pure beef with no added hormones or anything. Good stuff. All right. I got through all the questions. This is awesome. Hey, on Facebook, I forgot my Facebook page. This wouldn't let me stream to the FANSC Lifestyle. It said, you're not authorized. So I got to go find some setting. Wouldn't let me stream to my Facebook profile. You're not authorized on my own profile, but it let me go to my page, which page is different than profile. So this is streaming on my page. Anyway, I am going to hop off of here, and you guys keep the conversation going. You know, we'll post this recording in the FANSC Lifestyle. Ask any questions in there. Questions are great. That's how we all learn. We all learn by these Q&As are the best way to learn, because odds are when someone asks a question, someone else has the same question. And you know what? High five to all of you for taking your health seriously and making it a priority and being a part of this community. It's no fun to go at something like this alone. You're not alone. You've got the support and love and connection here 24/7. Thank you, Carrie. Great week, everybody. God bless you guys. I'll see y'all real soon. Bye now.